Hi, you guys. It's Mr. Winder. I'm back here with you, and we're going to talk about the Inuit of the Arctic. The Inuit have lived in the far north Arctic seas for a long time. The Arctic is a cold and frozen area. Greenland, Canada, and Alaska are places where the Inuit live. Some people call these Native Americans Eskimos. They like the name Inuit better. Inuit men, women, and children wore special clothing to keep them warm. Shirts were made from bird skins. Pants and coats were made from animal fur. They wore lightweight parkas over their clothing. The parkas were waterproof to keep their clothing dry. The Inuit also wore mittens and boots called kamiks. Even the dogs wore skin shoes to keep their paws dry and warm. The Inuit were not able to grow crops. The weather was too cold. The Inuit hunted and fished for food. Inuit men used their harpoons and kayaks to hunt seal, walrus, whale, and fish. Sometimes they cut a hole in the ice and waited for a fish to bite. On land, they hunted polar bear and caribou. The Inuit lived in snow houses called igluviaks. They were built out of blocks of hard snow. In the spring, the igluviaks melted. Then the Inuit moved to where the caribou lived. They built tents from wooden poles and animal skins. When the long winter returned, the Inuit made snow houses again. Inuit children, parents, and other relatives lived in one shelter. The Inuit spent much of their time indoors. They often told stories, sang songs, carved soapstone, and played string games. Boys learned how to build snow houses and hunt. Girls learned how to make clothing and set traps. Both boys and girls learned how to drive a sled and care for dogs. Animals were very important to the Inuit people. The picture on the left is a picture of a caribou or a reindeer, and they traditionally hunted it as it migrated across their territory. On the right, you have huskies or the sled dogs that the Inuit trained to pull their sleds across the snow and ice. So the picture on the left is a seal. Seal makes up a huge portion of the Inuit diet. On the right, you have the walrus, and they also hunted walruses. Both seals and walruses were used for food, and also their skins and bones were used for making clothing and tools. Inuit hunters still rely on Inuit or polar bears for both food and clothing. They use the fur to make warm trousers and kamiks. The liver of the bear is the only part that is discarded because it has toxic levels of vitamin A.